All right, in this challenge, we're going to take another look at the remove odd numbers from an array challenge. This is going to be where we create a function that takes an array of numbers and returns only the even values. The function should return an array containing only even numbers. So we've already looked at these examples and the expected output. In this challenge, we're going to go ahead in our approach use the filter method. Now I've listed the filter method in the tools below. You'll probably also find that using the remainder modulus operator will be helpful in this challenge. Down below, we have our function already set up. And again, I would challenge you to pause the video, look at the filter method, and try to think if you can think through a way how you might approach this challenge, or even write out how you might approach this challenge in English in a form of pseudocode to think through what you are trying to achieve. All right. So I think the steps in trying to solve this are going to be very few, but it's going to be compact. We're going to want to use the filter method for each item in the array. And then we're going to use the modulus operator to evaluate even numbers and return the items that have a remainder of 0, as we saw from our previous challenge. So let's go ahead and take a look at the filter method if you haven't looked at this method before. The filter method creates a new array with all elements that pass the test implemented by the provided function. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. Let's imagine we have an array called numbers. And inside of this array, we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's imagine that we want to create a filter that eliminates any numbers that are less than 5. So let's declare a variable greater than 4, because we don't want any numbers that are less than 5. And we'll set it equal to numbers, because this is our array that we want to filter, numbers.filter, and then what we pass into our filter method is a callback function. So we say function, and then we pass into the function a parameter. And this parameter is going to represent each of our items in our number array. We could call this parameter x, we could call this parameter dog, but it makes most sense to call this parameter number, because we're looking at an individual number, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, that we're going to use this callback function on. And then the statement we're going to run is we're going to return, and this return statement is going to be our filter. Anything that is false is going to be filtered out. Anything that's true is going to wind up in our greater than 4 array. So for any number that is greater than 4, this should be true and wind up in our greater than 4 array. So in our first case, 1 as our number is not going to be greater than 4, so it should be filtered out. Same thing with 2 as our number is not greater than 4, and so on until we get to 5 as our number, which should be greater than 4. Let's go ahead and see what our results are. When we type in greater than 4, the result is an array with the numbers 5, 6, and 7. All right, now that we have those basics down, let's take a look at our algorithm and see how this can help us. All right, let's go ahead and make use of this filter function. Let's go ahead and return array.filter, and then we want to pass in our callback function, and now we have to give a parameter that's going to represent each item in our array. Now from the example we just looked at, number probably makes a lot of sense to stick with. Now we're going to go ahead and return all items that are true in this following statement. Now from last lesson, we saw that any number, then the modulus operator, strictly equal to 0, must be even. So we could just go ahead and do that here. Number modulus 2 strictly equals 0 is going to be an even number. Any number that isn't even will be filtered out of our array. Well, let's go ahead and run our code and see what happens. There we go. We have our two arrays with the same results as last challenge. Alright, there we go. We have two arrays with the same results of our last approach. Great job, and we'll see you in the next challenge.